Welcome back to our weekly update. I'm Charlotte McLeod with investingnews.com, and we're going to run through a few of the week's biggest stories in the mining industry. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and of course, leave us a comment below. Let's get into it.
2025 is drawing to a close, and silver seems determined to end the year with a bang. The white metals breakout continued this week with the price crashing through $60 per ounce and continuing on up, even briefly passing $64. Year-to-date, silver is now up over 110%, far outpacing gold's gain of about 60%. Its latest rise kicked off on November 28th, the same day the COMEX experienced an outage that lasted about 10 hours. Since then, positive drivers have continued to pile up. Chief among them this week was the most recent interest rate reduction from the U.S. Federal Reserve. As was widely expected, the central bank made a 25 basis point cut at its meeting, taking the target range for the federal funds rate to 3.5 to 3.75%. Both silver and gold tend to fare better in lower rate environments, and the Fed's move added fuel to the many other factors working in their favor. While gold remains below its all-time high, it approached $4,300 per ounce this week. It's worth noting that although the Fed's cut went through, 3 out of 12 officials voted against it, a situation that hasn't happened since September 2019. 2 wanted rates to stay the same, while Governor Stephen Miron was calling for a 50 basis point reduction. Miron took his spot on the Fed's Board of Governors in September after being nominated by President Donald Trump, who's been critical of the Fed, and Chair Jerome Powell in particular, for not lowering rates as quickly as he would like. Powell's term ends in May 2026, and it's anticipated that his replacement will follow Trump's vision for rates. Kevin Hassett of the National Economic Council is said to be a strong contender, with 84% of respondents to a CNBC survey saying they think it will be him. While the Fed's rate decision was in focus this week, market watchers are also closely eyeing its post-meeting statement, as well as comments from Powell to figure out what the central bank's policy will look like heading into the new year and beyond. The latest dot plot shows that Fed officials expect only one rate cut in 2026, plus another in 2027. That's unchanged from projections made in September, but experts have pointed out that the dot plot also highlights the growing divide between Federal Open Market Committee members. Another important facet is the news that the Fed will start buying short-dated bonds as of December 12th, with an initial round involving purchasing $40 billion worth of treasuries per month. This move comes after the end of quantitative tightening measures on December 1st, and it's being looked at as a step in the direction of quantitative easing. Summing up the situation, David Erfley of Junior Miner Junkie said loose monetary conditions are coming. Here's how he explained it.
We've also got a Federal Reserve now that is lowering monetary policy in the midst of rising inflation. I mean, you had the Federal Reserve coming out this week and making officially cutting interest rates to 3.5 to 3.75%. But more importantly, the Fed also announced fresh balance sheet expansion by stating that they're going to begin buying 40 billion of treasury bills per month starting Friday. So this is basically another way of saying quantitative easing, and we're going to continue to print money because the Federal Reserve is in a situation where, hey, we got to continue to issue new debt to pay off the old debt. So now the yield curve is going to steepen as the Fed pivots toward these treasury bills, and private investors are going to have to absorb more duration risk. So basically, this means loose monetary conditions are on the way, and that's positive for both gold and especially now silver.
With that in mind, what exactly is next for the silver price? I've been asking guests on our channel where the metal goes from here, and many have said it's becoming harder and harder to predict as silver enters uncharted territory. Peter Kraut of Silver Stock Investor and Silver Advisor said that a relatively conservative outlook for 2026 would be $70, which definitely feels attainable at this point. However, he also emphasized that higher levels are possible.
The moment that you've broken through 50, which was this historic event, frankly, because when you look at investable assets as a whole, silver made what we would call a 45-year cup and handle formation. It first reached $50 in 1980. It touched it again in April of 2011. And then it's taken from 1980 until now, it's taken 45 years for it to finally break out through that $50 level. And so we're in uncharted waters, uncharted territory. And this being the kind of market that we're in, fundamentally, as well as macroeconomically, as well as geopolitically, I think odds are silver is going to continue to climb higher, and I think it's going to, convert a lot of doubters into believers that silver is going to go on setting new record highs, and that it's still relatively early in this market. We're going to see it perform very, very well for several more years.
David also weighed in on upside and downside for silver, outlining how it could get close to the $100 level.
There, and it's really taken on a life of its own. I mean, that downside $50 support resistance is now strong support. There's some support at 54.50 where it kind of double topped there for really quickly, and we had a lot of people coming out saying, "Okay, silver double top, that's it. It's time for the crash." Well, if you consider the supply demand fundamentals, this is a fifth year of a supply deficit in silver, which has constantly been outpacing supply. So, all these forces have converged to take the silver price so much higher. And looking at upside targets, the next target is the 66, 68 area, and then 80 to 83 if the momentum continues into January. But the long-term measured target of the cup and handle breakout is 96.
I'll be having more conversations about silver next week with experts like Gareth Soloway, John Rubino, and John Fennick. So drop a comment below if you have any questions. I'd also love to hear your thoughts on silver in 2026, so please leave your ideas on that as well.
Thank you for watching. If you like this video, make sure you hit the like button and subscribe to our channel. We'd also love to hear your thoughts, so leave us a comment below.